Canada's new Prime Minister taking part in a centuries-old tradition, the St. Patrick's Day Parade in Montreal, as he grapples with a national crisis. Telling Radio-Canada it's an important moment for the country.
To be honest with you, Canada only works as a state.
Donald Trump is threatening to torpedo Canada's economy with more tariffs.
We can't control President Trump's behavior. We can control our behavior.
Canada's ambassador to the U.S. says Carney has a plan to save the country from economic ruin and annexation. But she says a Carney-Trump call to discuss those tensions won't happen right away.
Of course, he should talk to the president, and I hope that they do talk. Does it have to be, in the next 12 or 24 hours? No, it doesn't have to be.
Instead, Carney is headed to the UK and France this week to meet with what he calls reliable trade partners.
We're in a wartime footing right now.
At home, the new industry minister is promising to reduce Canada's dependence on the Americans.
We have to strengthen the Canadian economy like never before.
This is all happening as federal parties get ready for an expected election campaign. Some polls show Liberal support is surging. The Conservatives are pushing for the resumption of Parliament.
These doors have been padlocked by the Carney-Trudeau Liberals, trying to avoid the accountability and the scrutiny that comes with a sitting parliament.
According to CBC poll tracker projections, the NDP is losing ground. The party would win just 13 seats if an election were held now. Party leader Jagmeet Singh taking aim at Carney.
The choice is you have Mark Carney, who has shown you through his track record that he will make lots of profits for billionaires, but will throw workers to the side.
The opposition parties are trying to stop Carney's momentum. While he has already put his assets in a blind trust to comply with the ethics code, the Conservatives are demanding the Prime Minister release more details about his finances. The NDP, meanwhile, are trying to hold on to progressive voters. They say Carney's calls for more fiscal prudence could lead to government cuts.
And what's the latest you're hearing on the timing of an election call?
Yeah, the Prime Minister is expected to call an election sometime in the next week, so Canadians could head to the polls in late April or early May. Ian?
JP Tasker in Ottawa. As we mentioned, Mark Carney is heading to Europe for his first overseas trip as Prime Minister. Chief Political Correspondent Rosemary Barton is traveling as part of the press pool, and we spoke to her just before takeoff about the significance of Carney taking this trip at this time.
Hi, Ian. As you said, this is the Prime Minister's first official trip overseas, and he's chosen two countries that for very symbolic reasons, both the United Kingdom and France. The first visit will be with President Emmanuel Macron in Paris, where the two will discuss, indeed, how to deepen trade between the European Union and Canada and some of those security issues. Then it's on to London, where Prime Minister Carney will meet with Prime Minister Keir Starmer to discuss whether they can do more between the United Kingdom and Canada. Carney will also have an audience with King Charles. This comes just weeks after Justin Trudeau had one of his own. The trip will end with the Prime Minister visiting Iqaluit Nunavut as a final sort of symbolic move to show that Canada must defend its north in order to keep its territorial integrity. And that will be sort of his first trip. All this, of course, in the wake of these threats from Donald Trump. The Prime Minister was asked on Friday whether this is to seek people's support. He said that's not what the trip is about. But if people have nice things to say about Canada, he'll take it. But Canada can defend itself. Yeah.
And Rosie, as we said, an election call is expected soon. How does this trip factor into that?
Yeah, listen, the timing of this is extraordinary, just days after being sworn in as Prime Minister and forming a cabinet and now taking this trip. But the timing is important for political reasons here. First, it sends a message to Donald Trump about what Canada or who Canada considers to be its closest allies at this challenging time. And second, it sends a message to Canadians about who is the best position to take on Donald Trump. That, of course, is supposed to be, likely to be, the ballot box question heading into an election in a matter of just days. And if that is the question, Mark Carney is starting off his week by positioning himself and presenting himself as the person who can defend Canada and take on Donald Trump in these critical times. It's a playbook that worked for Doug Ford in Ontario, and so it's one that the federal Liberals are trying by doing this first trip here with the Prime Minister. Yes.
Thanks, Rosie.